Oh, hi. Now, Scream 2 came out a year later, 1997. So I was now 14. But again, I believe I didn't. I think I saw both of them the same, because I didn't get to see them right away. So it was shortly after the VHS release of Scream 2 that I was able to see uh, Scream 1 and 2. Both the same place, same VHSs. It might have even been a double feature if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly. So, Scream 1 having blown my mind, I was surprised by the Killers. Loved the Killers, of course. Thought it was very, very clever. Blah, blah, blah. Scream 2, who did I think the killer was in Scream 2? If I remember correctly, I don't even remember. I think the second one might have thrown me for a loop because I don't have a specific. Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember. Now I remember specifically because mainly the with the computer scene, and then he corners her. I just want that darn Diane Sawyer interview, you know? I thought it was Cotton. I thought for sure that Cotton Weary was the killer in the second one. Especially once we got to that part where Gale runs up, and he's got the blood, and he's like, I just found Dewey, and he's got blood on his hands. I thought that was the movie's way of saying, yep, he's the killer. And I was like, oh, aha. It's Cotton Weary. I knew it. So I thought it was Cotton in the second one. I was wrong. Spoiler alert. Now, I love the reveal of Mickey. I'm a huge fan of Timothy Olyphant now. Everything he's done, especially Deadwood. Deadwood would definitely be up there. I mean, he's been in Star Wars now. He was Hitman. He's one of my favorite Die Hard villains. Yeah, I said it. I love that Die Hard. So I love Timothy Olyphant, but before all of that, to me, he was always Mickey from Scream 2. Crazy, freaky Tarantino film student. And I loved his motivation that he wanted to go to trial, that he was going to blame it on the movies, made him crazy. Like, that was ahead of its time. He was the first to be like, ha 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 ha. And then they had that weird out of nowhere Debbie Salt reveal. Billy's mother. Nice twist, huh? Didn't see it coming, did ya? So, love Mickey, but Mrs. Loomis came out of nowhere. You know, I can dig it now. It's fine, whatever. It always comes back to family, family this, family that, relatives this, relatives that, every time. So I get it. The thing that bothers me, and has always bothered me, about Scream 2, since its release, since I saw it, since I discovered this. This was 1997, like I said. This is the early days of this thing we called the internet, the World Wide Web. We didn't know exactly what we could do with it or how to work it or whatnot. But we were learning. This, in my recollection, in my zeitgeist, was one of the first, if not the first, movie to suffer from online leakage that was easily accessible to Joe Blow me. 1999, 2 years later, Star Wars Episode 1. And it was probably 98 that you could read the entire script online. Even I found the Star Wars Episode 1 script online in 1998. Printed it out. So, Scream 2, just before that, a year or two before that, suffered from the same thing. Their script got leaked, and so they reacted knee-jerkingly and changed the ending to it's Mickey and Mrs. Loomis. Sidney defeats them, the end. Well, the whole stab introduction into Scream 2, which is one of the best parts about the entire Scream franchise. And you gotta understand, you know, you forget sometimes, the first Scream has no stab, obviously, because stab is based on the first Scream. It's not until the second Scream that stab is introduced. But the whole point, and this was going to be a trilogy and blah, 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 blah. The whole point was, I'm getting ahead of myself. So they changed the ending. The original way Scream 2 was supposed to end, that people don't know as much as we knew back then. It was Mickey and Sydney's best friend slash roommate. They secretly were together, and they were the killers. And they were doing it for kinda half Mickey's motivation, but sprinkle in more of a Stab thing. Because they wanted there to be a Stab sequel. So they made sure that there was something for them to base the Stab sequel on. And the best part was, in this original script, I believe they died as well, but Sydney died too. Mickey killed Sydney like they shoot each other in this standoff, and they both die. And then Scream 3 was supposed to be all about this new wave of crime and criminals and psychopaths wanting to continue the legacy of Stab and the obsession of Stab and Hollywood and how that affects... Kind of crazy, right? Because that sounds kind of familiar to one that recently came out. Spoiler alert. Similarities, right? The whole point that Kevin Williamson wanted to do from the get-go with Scream 2, and where 3 was supposed to go before they wrapped it up, was the obsession of fandom, and fandom being affected by movies and then wanting to take it into their own hands and have an effect. And how, you know, movies don't create psychos, movies make psychos more creative, right? And then it comes full circle. Movies don't make psychos more creative, movies make psychos. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, Scream 2 was supposed to end with Sydney's death. Scream 2 still got me. I loved the killer, Mickey specifically. I didn't guess it, you know, so I was obsessed with these two movies. Love them. To me, it was just 1 and 2 was this nice little package, double feature. That's Scream. And then, you know, years down the road, they did, what was it? 2 years down the road, they did 3. But yeah. I never got, once I found out the original ending to Scream 2, I never got over the fact that that's not what happened. So every Scream after that, I was personally affected by the need and desire and personal closure, because I thought, well, Kevin Williamson's plan for 1, 2, 3, look at this trilogy, heroin dies, fandom takes over. That'd be cool. Isn't it kind of awesome that 25 years later he kind of got to tell that story? That's something I came around to recently after my initial reaction to the new Scream movie. And now I feel a lot better because it affected me. Every Scream 3 and Scream 4, spoiler alert, I was like, well, after that, I demand Sydney die. Because she was supposed to die. But then I think it kind of got out of hand after the third one. And then the fourth, you know, Wes just, you know, she became this, well, we can't kill her now, or it'll make everything she'd been through kind of meaningless. If she still ended up dying in the end, that'd be like someone getting stabbed in the back every single movie and almost dying, and then eventually in the last one they do die. But only if they're killed by fandom. Huh? Killed by fandom, just like she was supposed to. Okay, see? The wheels are rolling, I'm telling you. The original ending for Scream 2 makes me like Scream 5 even more. And Scream 5's ending makes me thankful and accept that 2 didn't happen that way, and it still didn't happen in 3 or 4, because we eventually got there anyway. All roads lead here. To Woodsboro. Anyway, I'll just keep rambling. Okie dokie.